Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Come on, man. Don't fail me. Don't fail me. Don't fuck with me. I changed it to OBS. I changed to the regular OBS. Can y'all see me now? Hold on 1 second. Damn, evidently not. Motherfucker. Let me see here. What is the deal? It's gotta be YouTube, man. Check, check. I think I'm good. I think I'm straight. I think I'm straight. Yeah. Yeah. OBS. The regular OBS won't let you down when the bells and whistles and shit do. Yeah. Yeah. That's the fuck I'm talking about. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Who's in there? It's finally fucking work. You know how long I've been working on trying to get this shit to work? Bullshit. Bullshit. But it's working now, so fuck it. So fuck it, right? Alright, let me get up out of here. Alright, so now here's what we're gonna do. I really wish to get more people in here. Roll call. This is a new OBS. This is the different OBS, so I ain't gonna have no problems with this one. You know what I'm saying? I changed a bunch of different settings and shit. This shit is lovely. I'll put some fucking music on and everything for them. Let me see here. What y'all motherfuckers want to hear? I'm putting my dog my dog Castles.
With the realest pillars and I can see blood. I've been GD for so long.
Hold up. I'll get that shit on here real quick. There you go, Cash. Regular OBS, yeah. Always. I'm so glad I tried it. I'm so glad because I really wanted to get this out there. I really wanted to get this one out there. So I'm glad I went ahead and tried it. It took me a while before I tried it. So we got 2 people in here now. So I'm hoping there's going to be more to show up. I'll play a song real quick. And then if there ain't nobody here, I'm going to go ahead and do it. This song I used to listen to when I was at folk. 13-year-old little dumb fuck.
What up, Mug?
Dope.
Fuck with it. I'm loading my cannon to show you I'm ready to buzz. I'm toting and standing, I'm loading the prophecy. of hypocrisy. I can obviously make mockeries of who I perceive to be a ride on me. Pop every cuz roll with the realest pillars, and I can see blood. I've been GD for so long, I'm Ruben's adopted the son. I've been down with this shit since 1991.
I'm gonna see if I can invite anybody in here.
When he got shot, history blissfully won. Witness the rapture, cases, look how I mastered it.
Y'all might not want to hear
how I did it, and I still managed to be thug. Say the folk.
I mean, a lot of this is my story and shit, and where I came from, and what I went through as a kid. But it's more of me trying to tell it through the hearts and minds of my sister and my stepfather. And it's just like, it's just kind of like a little extra I did for that Butterfly Effect series, you know what I mean? So PML, what's that mean, PML? Oh shit. Oh shit, Cash. Oh no, I didn't know. I had no idea. Yes, sir. That's awesome, man. We got more in common than we think we do. All right, let me was it you I was talking to, by the way? That wasn't a hit on you or nothing. Was it you I was talking to that was like, yeah, but I got a husband or something like that? I did not even mean it that way. You ain't no I got 4 bullets in my face. You ain't, what do you mean you ain't no LOL? I got 6 points on my face. Nah, bro. What do you mean? Call in. Call in, Cash. Call in real quick. You wanna call in, Kurt? Yeah, 4 6 20s on your face. 6 popping, 5 dropping. Hit me up though. Hit me up. We can get a quick talk in before we start the little thingy. Here, I'll show you a quick picture of me from back in the day. You're at work right now? Oh, damn. Alright, so you're just listening in. Right now, I don't know if it's... Let me refresh the page real quick. They're going old throwback. I had the bottle in hand and everything. I can't remember what I had a bottle of that night. You can see the nose, it's me. And you know I always got the hoodies on. You can see the nose, it's me. But I like to use that blue shit for the fucking... Yeah, man. But I was 13. You know, I was young when I was fucking around with folk and shit. I was a young cat, which is why I wanted you to call in. I was a young cat, man. I wasn't into it like some of these cats are. They live by it, die by it, bleed by it. And my boy Shane that brought me in, the guy that brought me in, which basically was damn near a blessing, because I was 13 years old and these 2 girls liked me, and they just kind of, I floated in there, and it was, I mean, it was a good time. I had a fucking great time, but it's not something I like. It's not something I like claim any, like I run around, throwing up 6 pointers or anything like that. You know what I mean? I just, it's my thing. It's just like the motorcycle club. I talk about it because I've been through it. It's an experience that I had been through, and I like to talk about it because of that. It's an experience. So there's that. I mean, take that for what it's worth. I don't know. I really wish more folks would. Okay. So here's what I can do. Take this, copy, paste. Alright, I'm gonna send this shit. I'm gonna go to Hangouts and just send it to everybody. I can't believe you ain't believe me, Cash. Man, that's a damn shame. I'm just messing with you, Cash. The Wise, Derek. I don't know who that is, but I'll put it in there. But like I said, y'all might not even want to hear that. This is my history and shit. You know what I mean? But it's entertaining. It's entertaining. I'm sick. I'm so sick. Let me get back to the chat. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just messing with you anyway. I used to get, the way that I looked, I used to be real scrawny. Ooh, that's for sure. I used to be real scrawny, so I used to get G-checked all the time, so I had to know my knowledge and shit. Hey, what's good? I finally got this shit to work. I had to use the old school OBS. So basically what I really wanted to do is I put together a video. I spent a little bit of time on this video, so it made me really want to kind of push it out there and get it out to you guys, because this is like, if you didn't have enough time to watch the Butterfly Effect series, this will sum it up all in like 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes, 15 maybe tops. All right, so all right, y'all ready to rock with me on this, or if y'all don't feel like sitting here watching this shit, I'm straight with it. I completely understand. I'm looking at this. I got the chat over here. I got the chat on this screen. All right, here we go. Y'all been talking to me shit while I was on. Alright, I'll give you a rundown real quick. If you had missed the previous chapters, I'll give you a very, very short rundown. I was born to a woman. She was 18 years old when she had me. A man that was 25-ish, 26-ish. and my mother was not mother material. She was still out in her partying days, and my father was a heroin addict. 4 years later, after he left my mother, he contracted HIV from injecting heroin and hepatitis and all that good stuff, and died. I never talked to him. I never met him. My mom pawned me off to my grandmother, my great-grandmother. Very authoritarian parents. They did not let me do shit. So basically, I was stuck in my room with the very, very small amount of toys and shit I had to do. So I threw myself into music, MTV, music videos, radio, and whatnot. I did my fair share of being my own DJ and mixing cassette tapes off the radio. So you could say I was raised by music, and later on in life, I was raised by the peers that weren't such a good idea for me to be rocking with. Now, moved out of my grandmother's house finally with my mom, my stepdad. My mom was a goddamn sociopath, a narcissistic personality disorder, possibly bipolar. I'm not a psychiatrist, these are just assumptions. Borderline personality, whatnot. It'll be covered in the other chapters, what happened in between these times. Here I am talking about me and what it has done to me and how I came through it and whatnot. So like I said before, I was raised from the age of, I don't know, fucking 1, maybe 2, till the age of 11 or 12 by my great-grandmother, and I was in a fucking prison living with her. She was authoritarian. She didn't let me do shit, you know. She didn't let me do shit. She didn't like to let me go outside, cause of that. She didn't like for me to have friends. So that was like a feeling of being in prison. Once I moved out with my mother and my stepfather, things changed drastically for me in my childhood. So, to make a long story short, we were pretty much surrounded by alcoholism and drugs. My sister and I, once she came along, once I was around 13 or 14 years old, I believe it was 13 years old, that she finally came into the picture. And it was chaos. It was absolute chaos. I cover all this stuff in this actual series, so work with me here. This stuff is in the series, so please go watch this series. This series goes in depth into these things. It was rough at the house. It was we had some rough times. I did a lot of time escaping. I had a group of friends I used to go hang out with, quite shallow people. If I would often break down because of some of the things that were going on in the household, and these people just didn't want to hear it. They just wanted to have fun and party, and I can argue with that, but they were quite shallow. They weren't friends. They didn't want to sit down and talk with me about the things that were going on at home. So that's, you know, there's a difference there. Once I finally got out of my mother's house, I moved in with my ex, and it was our first apartment, so our house became pretty much the party house, and that's when I started to dive deeper into my drug addiction and drinking, and we would have some pretty wild nights and at that house, because your first house is always your party house. That's kind of how it goes. It wasn't long before my life became nothing but drugs and alcohol, getting high and escaping. I hated life, I hated myself, I hated everybody in it, I hated the world. And drugs was my main escape, and that's what I used. And I used it for years upon years upon years. I was a drug addict for a long, long time. It sent me to prison, it sent me to many places. It was rough. After some time, my ex got pregnant with my first child, and his name is Miles. And at the time we had moved out of that first apartment, we were living from efficiency to efficiency. It was not a good situation, and I pretty much begged her to not have the kid because of our situation. We can't take care of kids, and she said she was against abortions, and I said, hey, you know, I kind of am too, but you know, reality's reality. Let's get with the program. Let's understand that we can't do this right now. Luckily, it turned out okay, but it happened a second time. She stopped taking her birth control pills, and once again, she got pregnant. We went through the same spiel, and she got pregnant again, and now we have 2 kids together. So there's that. I eventually went to prison. And upon being released from prison, I gave her a call. I was like, listen, what's up? You know, I thought we were still together and whatnot. You know what I mean? She was like, well, no, actually, I found another guy. And I was pretty upset at the time because I had no place to go. And if I went back to my mom's, I went back to chaos. So, and that was the only other place I had to go. So I ended up going back to my mother's and to the chaos that it brings. After a while, she did call me. The things that happened at my mother's house were not good things. There was all kinds of mishaps, and my poor stepfather was back and forth with her consistently. Eventually, she did give me a call, said she needed some help with the kids, and we moved down there. I moved down there. She was like, I need help with the kids. If you could stay here, I'll stay at Serio's house most of the time. You can use the apartment and watch the kids. I was like, that sounds fucking perfect. I'm just fresh out of prison. I have no place to go. I get to see my kids every day. That's absolutely wonderful. So I moved down there. I furnished the house for free, might I add. I didn't pay for none of that, but I furnished the house. And I tried to make it as nice as I could. It was an apartment, rather, excuse me. And we ended up getting into this falling out fight one day because I had met somebody in the apartment complex. And this somebody just so happens to have turned out to be my wife. When I met Roxy, I met her while she was carrying groceries in. I asked her if she could help, and as stubborn as she is, she said, no, I got it. And I said, all right, I'm going to give you a hand anyways. And some along those lines. But the initial greeting was our kids introducing us. This is my dad, this is my mom, and I kind of stumbled on a few of my words. She was a gorgeous woman, absolutely gorgeous, and I helped her out. We got to know each other. We went on a lot of walks at night with her dog. She used to have a dog named Lexi that she would walk, and we got to know each other, and we ended up getting together. When I moved in with her is when child support came. That's when a lot of issues came because I had to move in with her. One day I went back to my ex's house and she claimed that I was disrespecting her home, which was an apartment, by something about putting out cigarettes on the outside wall by the bushes. It was supposedly disrespectful to her home. Forget about the fact that I furnished the whole house and I did all this thing. Yeah, I kept the house clean, which was something that she usually wasn't that great at. But that's beyond the point. I went back and I had to we got into a little bit of a physical altercation, and you know how women are. Sometimes they think they're beyond their strength, and I had to basically restrain her, and I had to tell her to knock it the fuck off, and I had to tell her what the deal was, and I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm not doing this for you no more, because I was also taking care of one of her own children that was not mine. Her name was Lily. I love that kid, but by the time I was with my ex, she had 4 kids of her own by one man, and 2 twins and 2 boys, and I had 2 kids by another woman, which also she had a kid, and so I was taking care of 3 kids. She was taking care of 4 kids, so it was a little much at the time. So there was a little bit of time spent away. We lived right across from each other. think it was mainly due to the kind of relationship that I had with Sarah and the kind of person she was. We seemed to have this kind of unspoken understanding between one another. Honestly said, unconditional love. We never passed judgment on each other. And if she wanted to pass judgment on me, she could have been allowed. She saw me make a lot of mistakes. And she was aware of some of my dark things. Even recently, I had a mental breakdown and just went out of control. And she still has a problem. We gave her. I'm sure the 13-year age had something to do with that, but I think it was mainly due to the kind of relationship that I had with Sarah and the kind of person she was. We seemed to have this kind of unspoken understanding between one another. New place of residence. New place of residence.
In Citrus County are mourning the loss of two young teens
Mike,
killed in a
he
weekend
was a
crash.
noble man,
A third
but
teenager
he was
still
also at the
recovering in
same time a
hospital
bit
right
shallow.
now.
I
ABC
helped
Action
Mike
News reporter
pack
Kara Moshik
his
is in
stuff
Crystal
up.
River
I
with the
drove him
chilling
to
images
his place
captured
of
just
residence, which
minutes
was a
before
small
that deadly
apartment with
accident.
one male roommate.
Well, this
And
weekend,
a
those
week
three
later, I
teens
got a
were
phone
coming in their
call.
vehicle right
Michael
down
is
US
dead
19 when they
on
veered off the road,
the living
ultimately
room floor
slamming
of
right
the
into that
apartment that
tree.
you dropped him
Now
off
their
at.
family members
Drug
posting this
overdose.
haunting message
They
on
put him
Facebook.
on breathing
Hopes it
machine,
saves
and
other
we at least
lives.
got to go
3
see him.
days after the deadly crash,
About
people are
8 months
still
after that, I
stopping
flipped my
by
car
this
about 4
roadside
times,
memorial
broke
just
my
outside
back,
Crystal
lost my
River.
I
license
just want to stop
habitually,
and say secret little
and about
prayer
8 to
for
10 months
Beverly
after
Strick and her
that,
husband
my little
driving
sister
down this
got in her
highway
very
moments
first
after the crash
fucking
happened
car
late
accident.
Friday.
as we were
Very
going by
first.
really slow.
You know how
off the
many
scene,
accidents I've been
obviously
in?
it was
My
fresh,
little sister.
and
One accident, and
we
she's
saw a
gone.
stretcher,
She's
but
gone.
we didn't see no
Life
people.
works in
She learned
mysterious
later
ways
18-year-old
sometimes.
Sage
It
Fields
should
and
have
her
been
friend
me. I
18-year-old
wish it
Sam
had been
O'Connor
me.
were killed. The
But here we
15-year-old
are.
friend in the
Let's
back
talk
seat is in
about
a
it, folks.
hospital with
Much
serious
love.
injuries.
Let's talk about
A
it.
family member posting these Snapchat videos she wrote her sister took just minutes before her life ended.
Crown, Henny, beer, all that. All that.
That relative requesting others pass her message on, hoping it might save lives. It's already been shared thousands of times, many hoping it will be a teachable moment for families everywhere.
Hope the young ones coming up and will make better choices is all. It's frightening. It's terrible. It didn't have to happen.
Florida Highway Patrol is continuing to investigate the crash, but say alcohol was definitely involved and that charges will likely be filed at some time in the near future. Reporting in Citrus County, Kara Moshik, ABC Action News.
Welcome back, ManikAsylum. I hope everybody's doing well today. This is a bit of a somber video, a little difficult to make, a little difficult to go through the photographs and videos, but here we are. I felt like this is one of the most necessary. I think this entire series was built off the back of what happened to Sage, because it is the end result of everything that I've talked about in the previous chapters. Now, can you connect what happened to Sage directly to the circumstances of her family life and what happened in the past? Not necessarily, but make no mistake about it. I named this series The Butterfly Effect for a reason. My biggest regret with Sage is not spending more time with her. We did talk on the phone a lot. She would call me, usually she would call me when she was breaking down, because she knew that I had gone through the same thing at home with my stepfather and mother. That's generally when she would call me, and she knew I was well spoken and well with the words. So I think she looked to me for maybe a little bit of help, because Sage, just like me, had no guidance. She didn't have anybody there to guide her. She didn't have anybody there for her like that, which always brings me back to the family structure. Why I think having a mother, a fit mother, and a fit father in the household is so fucking important. The mother and the father are at the ends of the spectrum, and everything in between gets swallowed up and dealt with as long as you have yeah. There it goes. I cut it off trying to put this ManikAsylum fucking signal up there. Well, here we go. Let me if you guys want to finish watching that, I can fast forward it for you real quick if you want to. Continue to watch the rest of that small presentation. Let's see this ManikAsylum up here. There you go. Alright, okay. Now, let me see. Where is that video? Right here. Somewhere over here. I got it. Found it. Alright, hold on, let me get it on window capture. Sorry about that, guys. Where are you? There it is. No, it ain't. There. Why can't that window capture this? See, that's the problem with the old OBS, is you run into little issues like this where you can't really do exactly what you intend to do. There's 4 Windows media players up, and I have no idea which one it is. I could just pick one. Yeah, that's not it. Alright, well, how about this? We'll do a screen capture. If I can find a screen capture. Shit I had to do, so I threw myself into music, MTV, music videos, radio, and whatnot. Some drinking, but she loved her a couple times, living with her and her boyfriends, and it would never work out, and I would always end up back there. Around the time I don't know, my mother would threaten to kill herself, and she would lie in the got to the point to where every other week heroin and have blue and white wings keep her afloat, was out having fun, doing things that 18-year-olds do. She was butterfly, was well spoken and well with the words, so I think she looked to me for maybe a little bit of help, because Sage, just like me, had no guidance. She didn't have anybody there to guide her. She didn't have anybody there for her like that, which always brings me back to the family structure and why I think having a mother, a fit mother, and a fit father in the household is so fucking important. The mother and the father are at the ends of the spectrum, and everything in between gets swallowed up and dealt with as long as you have a fit mother and a fit father that are ready to be parents, that know what it is to be a parent, that know what it is to raise a child and not just be there and take care of them. Parenting is not feeding and clothing your child only. Parenting is raising your child and preparing your child for the world ahead. Once you become a parent, you sign up for that. Now along the way, there are bumps, there are things that are beyond your control. Your kids get older, and especially if you are separated from the mother or the father, there are things that are far beyond your control, and there's nothing that you can do often, especially with the state of the family courts. It was chaotic at home for the entirety of Sage's life. Zero stability, no parameters, no boundaries. I used to talk to my mother, sister. She does not exactly fall into the drug and alcohol addiction category. She was certainly dabbling. She was an 18-year-old young girl that was out having fun, doing things that 18-year-olds do. She was enjoying life and having fun with her friends, and drugs and alcohol obviously are in the mix of that. She was by far an addict of any kind. However, Sage is a perfect precursor for me to kick this off with, because she is kind of a signification of the end result. So people write books about things like addiction and what it does to the family and to the individuals. What I want to do here is kind of tell my story a little bit, kind of how I came up, the things that I went through, the transgressions that our family went through, and how it completely demolished everything and everything around us. I want to hopefully do this to maybe help other people, other young people that may be going through a similar situation, to understand that these things are beyond their control when it comes to your parents. It turned me into somebody that was driven by anger, by emotion. I was angry, I was sad, when it comes pissed off at the world. I hated everything and everyone in it, and I felt like a victim. That seems to be a big common thing these days, that everybody is claiming victimhood, and it's something that I often preach to my children. Do not allow yourself to be a victim to anything. These are circumstances that you are going through. You will get through them. Be a survivor, be a fighter, be the person that is just taking it and running with it. It's easier said than done, but I think the main point is to not be a victim. Don't consider yourself a victim. Consider yourself a fighter and a survivor that has gotten through shit, or that is going through shit, that is fighting through shit. Do not be a victim. And this is a mantra I repetitiously preach to my children. So what I want to do here is it's a little bit of kind of my history and my upbringing. All right, you're gonna learn a little bit about me. We'll start off with a very brief summary of my upcoming, and I'll introduce you to my biological father that I had never met, that died of a heroin addiction, my stepfather that died of a heroin overdose, my little sister that, if you may or may not know, died at 18 years old in a drunk driving car accident. So as you can see, these things are kind of full circle. My mother is not excluded, and this is a reflection piece. I want to tell my story, and I want it to be able to maybe, hopefully, help at least one person. Maybe somebody can see this and see that somebody else has gone through it and came out of it on the other end, a little banged up, a little rough around the edges, but still fucking kicking ass. Alright, so roll with me and let's get this shit started, shall we? It's dark here, lonely and cold. No sense of human connections, no sense of home. I roam through the labyrinth of dark hallways chasing an illusion. I thought I saw an angel opening her arms to me within my confusion. I dream of her often. Beautiful blue and white wings keep her afloat as she illuminates everything around her, as if her mere presence evokes joy and happiness upon her surroundings. She moves in slow motion, floating gently through the air as she slowly approaches. And as she places her hand over my heart, she says in the most beautiful heavenly voice, "I sense much pain in you, my child." Yes, I reply. I'm tired of this life. All the using, all the lies, all the confusion, the disguises, the delusions deep inside, and I refuse to keep on fighting in this fight that isn't mine. With all the crying in my nights, all my desires and my sights are sliding by, 'cause I'm to hide or rise above this dying life, and I'm afraid. Imprisoned in this cage on this imaginary stage where I just rant and I just rave and no one listens, no one stays. Take me away, I hate this place, I hate this cage, I hate this maze, I hate the darkness of these days, I hate this rage inside me blazing, memories that just keep fading. I'm insane, no one can save me from this pain, please angel take me. And as I open my eyes in anticipation of some kind of comforting words from the angel, she's gone, leaving behind the hope that perhaps one day she'll return to set me free. That was a piece of poetry that I wrote as a very young man when I Thank you, Princess. I got something to add to that. I realized just like a month ago, as I listened to that, I wrote that poem to my mom. And I'm 30 years old. I'm 35 years old. I'm just now realizing I wrote that poem to my mom because I needed her so bad, and I needed to talk to her so bad. I realized that that's who I wrote that fucking poem to. Isn't that crazy? Alright, let's roll. I felt very alone, and I felt very shunned, and I felt like there was no one to go to or no way out. So you can interpret it the way that you want to. That's what art is about. But that's the state of mind that I was in when I wrote that. I was very young when I wrote that. I was born to a woman at the age of 18, and my father, I believe, was in his mid-20s, if I'm not mistaken. Their marriage did not last long. They ended up splitting up. My father was a heroin addict. He, about 4 years after, 2 or 3 or 4 years, I don't know, it's hazy, after he left my mother, or they split up rather, he contracted the HIV virus from injecting heroin and hepatitis C and all that good stuff that you get from repeatedly injecting heroin. So my mother was still very young. She was still kind of in her social days or partying days. So I ended up staying with my great-grandparents for about 10 years of my life. The first 10 years of my life-ish. I went back and forth a couple times, living with her and her boyfriends, and it would never work out, and I would always end up back there. Around the time I was, I want to say 11 or 12 years old, is when my mother found Mike, my stepfather. They got together, and we ended up moving in together, all of us. I'll pause this real quick for Stacy. Stacy, this is the video I wanted to present to you guys to kind of tell my story and kind of break down the I know everybody didn't have time to watch the Butterfly series, so it kind of breaks down the Butterfly series in the quickest manner it possibly can. So there's that, and I'm trying to get through it now, so hope you enjoy it. Very happy to be out of my grandmother's house because she was a damn tyrant. She was very authoritarian. She was a very authoritarian parental person. She did not like me to have friends. She did not like me to go outside for too long and play. I really wasn't allowed to be a kid, you know. So I was pretty much stuck in my room with the very few toys I had and MTV, pretty much, music and radio, and that's kind of what I threw myself into, is music. I can still remember as a young boy standing in front of that mirror fantasizing about becoming a rock star. Now once I moved in with my stepfather and my mother, it was smooth for a very short amount of time. Things started to really crank up pretty quickly. Mike was an alcoholic. My mother did some drinking, but she loved her pills, and the fights would ensue, and it got to the point to where every other weekend the police were at our house for domestic violence, and I saw some very horrific, ugly things. I will be making a Patreon video that will go dive deeper into some of the things that went down that I'd rather not go through on YouTube. So if you want to subscribe to my Patreon, I'll leave a link, but there's some things I'd rather not say on YouTube. However, the drugs and alcohol really did a number. They weren't the type of people that could take drugs and alcohol and self-sustain. They weren't functional drinkers, or they weren't functional addicts by any stretch of the imagination. We lived in this apartment complex, and there would be nights where, you know, my mother would threaten to kill herself, and she would lie in the streets to get hit by a car. There were times we'd have to hide the knives in the house from her. Very embarrassing moments where I'd be walking with a group of my friends, and we'd hear whimpering from bushes, and that would be my mother in the bushes, and I would have to help her home. So these were very embarrassing times and very ugly times, and I do wish to put a disclaimer on this. I myself, which I will get into within this series, was also a long-time drug addict, and I did some heinous things myself. Alright, so I do not by any means say these things pointing the finger, but I digress. The fighting didn't cease, and it was a very rough situation to be in as a young man, and it was very embarrassing, you know, because I had friends and they would have to see it as well. So after quite some time of this going on, my mother ended up pregnant with my little sister. During all this, I was really starting to get beaten down from it. You know, it was really starting to take its toll on me. I ended up in the streets, fucking around with gangs. I ended up in GD. I ended up running around with Folk Nation and just doing nothing but getting into trouble. I was arrested twice by the time I was 13 years old, and that just continued throughout my years in and out of jail. So I certainly wasn't stable at the time either. So once they got pregnant with Sage, they made the decision to get married. Brilliant idea, considering the state of their relationship. But they got married. So they got married. We ended up moving into another place, and there were times that it would cool down for very, very short periods, but I would say 95% of the time it was absolute chaos. It was drinking and getting fucked up and screaming and shouting at each other and getting physical. Mike would not beat or hit my mother. It was my mother that was the aggressor consistently. I remember times where I saw my mom grab him by a handful of his hair and beat him in the face, and when he left the house, she would begin beating her own face for when the cops came to blame it on him. Now Mike wasn't really a man's man. He was more of a beta kind of guy. He didn't have the faculties really to be a father, at least not to a young man. I couldn't look to him for fatherly advice or anything like that. He was a bit shallow. But I don't take anything away from Mike for that, because Mike had a heart full of love. He loved us. He cared for us deeply, you know, and I believe that was just part of his personality. And it took me it took me a while to really grasp that and understand that. But the times that, I mean, there were times that, you know, my mother would do things like call the police on me and tell them that I was selling drugs out of their house. And the only thing that I had back in the day was my room. I took pride in my room. I made it really nice and I set it up really nice. And when she did that and the cops came and tossed my room, I completely snapped, and I grabbed a baseball bat and I busted out all the windows in the car. Because damn it, that was my room, and that was the only thing I had, you know. Well, I was probably about 16 at that age. And I'm going to skip over a lot of things, you know, because there's tons and tons of hours upon hours that I could talk about different things that went on, but I'll keep it brief here. So as Sage was starting to get a little bit older, obviously the consistent bickering and fighting amongst them would not stop, and the violence, and there would be times where they would split up. And when they did split up, Sage was my mother's bargaining chip, and she would use her against him and not let him see her, and eventually she got my stepfather locked up in prison. Not a man that deserved to be in prison by any stretch of the imagination. I was a complete lost soul at this point. I was completely lost and deep into my drug addiction already. Couldn't have been more than 17, 18 years old maybe when this happened, but my recollection of time is a bit foggy, probably because of all the drugs I did when I was younger. I saw some very heinous things that went on in the household that really disturbed me because of the type of person that I am. I just don't think life should be lived in that manner. And I told Mike so many times, just leave, man. Just please, just leave. But, you know, Michael, he loved that little girl so much, you couldn't tell him nothing. He would just keep coming back and coming back and coming back. And it was always the same damn thing. Mike wasn't perfect. You know, he was pretty much a fuck up on a lot of things. He made a lot of mistakes. He made a lot of dumb decisions. He wasn't the brightest guy in the world. But god damn it, that man loved his family. And once I collected that, once I realized that, it really started to bother me. It really started to eat me up. Because after a while, it got to the point to where there was nothing he could do right. Absolutely nothing. And this was not just my mother, you know. This was my mother and her family, her whole family. Except for maybe my aunt. That would just team up on him and just completely kick him while he was down. Constantly, never offering a hand up, never saying, all right, let's get through this, never sitting down to make a plan, never sitting down to say, hey, all right, we fucked up, we got to make some decisions here, we got to move forward. I don't care who you are. If you're not hurting anybody, and if you're a person with love in your heart, and you're caring, and you're trying, you don't deserve that kind of treatment. Mike was an alcoholic, but it wasn't long until he turned to pills. And that's when shit really went downhill, and everything really started to spiral out of control. Alright, I thank you guys for watching. A reminder, this is part 1 of a series, so I will be diving deeper into these past circumstances and situations. This is a bit compartmentalized, which is definitely why I have to do it in parts or chapters. There will be at the end one on myself and criticizing myself of all the things that I've done and all the mistakes that I have made as well. I am not impervious to criticism of my own, and I'm probably my own worst critic. So if you choose to stick around for that will be an interesting one. Like I said, these videos take some time to make. I will be doing a more uncut version, a little bit more personal version for my Patreon supporters. So if you choose to join the militia and Patreon, I will provide a link below, and once those videos are done and polished up, they will be up and posted for my Patreons. And I thank you very much to my Patreons for your support. It means the world to me. Also, one more disclaimer, this is all past tense, you understand? I consistently criticize myself for my past misdoings and my past fuck-ups. Alright, so I am in no way speaking on the character or likeness of anybody at this moment now. We all make mistakes, we all fuck up, we all do shit that we regret in life. Hindsight is 20/20. These things are to be learned from. And anybody out there that is dealing with a certain situation like this, I hope that you take away something good from this, that you can help push you through these things. I have to tell my story first. Once I'm done telling my story, then we can get into how I dealt with it in the wrong way, and how I finally started to deal with it in the right way. So thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next chapter. Much love.
Were asked, they said the number one reason they used drugs was to deal with the pressures and stress of school. And some teens have to cope with stress at home. There could be emotional neglect, abuse, divorce, a family member with an illness, a family member who's addicted, the death of a loved one, money troubles, or other challenges. Many teens also need to cope with depression or social anxiety. In addition to a lot to cope with, some teenagers, through no fault of their own, have poor coping skills. Maybe their parent or parents have been caught up in their work or other family crises and do not even realize that their teenage child needs help. Maybe their parent or parents are struggling themselves and are simply not able to teach their kids how to constructively cope with life. And teens who experience day-to-day depression or social anxiety may develop an unwarranted negative self-image.
The girl that died in the car with their family is trying to sue my grandmother and put them in jail. Yeah.
Make it tougher to cope. The third ingredient to addiction that may be present is certain brain chemistry. Some people, by virtue of how their brain processes chemicals, get hooked easier. You can attribute this to your family tree, otherwise known as genetics.
Collegiate. You see, everybody got a story to tell. Well, here's mine. My pain's deep, I've been through hell. I managed to survive, so I got a story to tell. Listen, I stand victorious, make the sign of the cross. Look, I'm here to be the voice for every friend I've ever lost. Let me pray as I put together my hands. I've never been ashamed to tell you the person I am. When it comes to doing drugs, I've never been a rookie. But hold up, let me tell you about the places that they took me. I haven't showered, it's been possibly a week, and I'm so deep in a psychosis, impossible to speak. That coke is in my arm, now it's impossible to sleep. My throat's numb, closed shut, so it's impossible to eat. Losing weight's a part of my daily routine. I always use against my will, just praying I was clean. So nod your head if you understand what I mean. When I was growing up, I never thought that I would be a fiend ever. My life's tumultuous, it's never getting better. Another abscess from my arm is getting severed. My exquisite vision, depiction of dereliction, livid living conditions, malicious on a mission. All these green tree cops, look, they all know me by my first name. Paramedics had to revive me, this ain't a game. I worn the same clothes for like the last 10 days. And look, I wanna do better, but I don't know a different way. Completely all alone, I'm sitting in this room. I empty out the bags, brown liquid in the spoon. I have to do a lot, can no longer do a little. The water's been added, I place the cotton in the middle. I'm sucking every drop up into this plastic devices. I am tying off, I'm trying to find a decent vein to strike. I shove it ever so gently up underneath my skin as I'm pulling back the plunger to this blood in the syringe. I push it in and try to drift away to heaven. prison. But criminals like me, that's never the place that we're headed. The guilt, shame, remorse, and regret I never address. And I'm a mess from all this pain and this anguish. I'm filled with stress, overdoses. I'm emotionally broken, this ain't a joke. I'm smoking on a Newport, I never have any hope. This is me, I'm feeling like I don't deserve more. I feel disgusted as I'm pushing on this burnt shore. Someone stole the vinegar in the midst of a blackout. Another shooting gallery, another crack house. On the porch, welcome to hell is on the floor mat. I'm glancing at my arms and all I ever see are sore tracks. I'm feeling filthy, dirty needles with the orange caps. Peeking out the window, someone whispers, lock the door latch. We're blasting off, departing from this mothership. I look around as others search the carpet for another hit.
Thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching with me. I really appreciate it. If I'm gonna post this video up alone, I got this guy's name, and to give him credit, I gotta find the file. I put all my description stuff in file. I gotta find the file for this. So as soon as I post this, it'll be in the description. If I post once I post this particular video online, so you'll be able to find them there. Yeah. So no, I wish it was somebody I knew, because he looks like he's doing pretty well for himself. But beyond that, guys, you know what? I've always had this thing. I've just wanted to tell my story, and that's why I've decided to go ahead and start writing the book. And it's kind of like a manifesto kind of thing. It's a book that just kind of like, I don't know how, maybe it'll be a big hit, about my life, because I got a lot of stories, as I'm sure a lot of you guys do. Am I echoing? Oh, check. Okay. I'm sure a lot of you guys do. Have plenty of stories, but I want to share them. I want to share my experiences. I want to share what I've been through. I want to share how I came out of it, how I went back into it, came out of it again. I wanted to be able to help people. I want people to read it and go, damn it, shit, I can do this too. This fool can get through it. You know what I mean? So I think it's gonna be a good thing. Sorry, I'm just reading the. But yeah, guys, I really appreciate you stopping by and watching this with me. And I'll have that video up tomorrow. I'm probably gonna lay down soon. It's been a rough day, so it's been a long day, so I will probably have this video up probably more than likely tomorrow night. So anybody does anybody want to call in? Does anybody want to call in real quick? Say something. Does anybody want to hang out, do a hangout or anything like that? Thank you, Stacy. Thank you. I'm a writer. I don't know if you knew that, but I'm a writer. I just haven't really sat down to write my whole book yet. I do poetry and stuff like that, and songwriting. So if anybody wants to call in, you're more than welcome to. Before we leave, I'm fine. We can do hang out or call in. It's up to you. It's up to you guys. I'm just kind of here chilling. I'm gonna be on the computer for the next few minutes, messing around anyhow. So just hit one or something, and let me. Okay, Dwight, you want to call in? Let me see I wonder if I can feed you through the computer with this other OBS, because I know I could do it with the other one, but then we had some technical difficulties. I can find my wires. There's one. Alright, the wise. We're gonna get you called in, bro. Damn, what Why I gotta be the wrong one? Alright, so I think I can take this one out. Yeah, I can take this one out. And I can use this one. Alright, check. Alright, let me fix my audio real quick and you can hit me up, dog. Recording, and we got internal, enable that, and then we got audio output, enable that. And well, we'll try Focusrite. Okay. Alright, hit me up, dog. Let's do this. If this don't work, yeah, use Hangouts. If you want to be on screen, you can just go ahead and use Hangouts. I'm ready for either one. Good. Had a long weekend. Back to the second. Alright, good night, Stacy. Thank you for stopping by, Ma. Hello? What if it's gonna do me like that? Hold up, dog. Hello? Can you hear me? Beautiful. What's good with you, dog? What you think, man? What you think about the little video I did, dog? Let me this thing. Can you say something? Yeah, this wire. I need to get some new wires. They be bugging out. Alright, you're still there, right? Alright. Let me try the other one. Check. Alright, you there? Can't hear him through that one. There you are. There. That rap video. Have you? That rap video was dope, man, huh? Dog, he talks about putting the cotton in the spoon and everything, dog. Like, he goes all the way deep with it, man. It's crazy, dog. But like, I'm wanting to write this book, man. Kind of like a manifesto type thing, because like I feel like it's something I need. I need to get it out there. I need to get my story out there. Even though it's not like the worst story in the world and shit. Like, people been through worse. But not. Matter of fact, there's a lot of people, most people that I know that have done off a lot better than me. But there's a lot of other people that have done a whole hell of a lot worse than I have. And, you know, but still, I think it'll be a good precursor for, you know, maybe to help somebody out. Can you hear me tapping on this mic? Can you hear me talking to it? Okay, alright, so it's on. You're good. Yeah, and especially the book. The book is more for me, I think, man. I want to write a book about my life and shit, and I want to be that guy that, wrote a book about his life, and hopefully, something comes from it. You know what I mean? Dog, Stacy is such a fucking sweetheart, man. She donates to me all the time. She is such a fucking sweetheart. I like it. She's so sweet and just like a nice, kind person. Like you don't meet too many people like that online. You know what I mean? You just don't. I'm fumbling around with my computer now. But yeah, she's good people for sure. And she doesn't. Yeah, and she don't like take no sides and shit neither. You know what I mean? Which there are no sides in our group, but beyond our group there damn sure is. I've been locked out of my PayPal trying to figure out how to get the fuck back in. It's not working out too well. Yeah. Yeah, I tried all day, man. I wanted so bad to get that done earlier on in the day, and no, I couldn't fucking do it. And it was yeah, it just kept stopping. And look, OBS, the previous OBS is just fucking flowing. It's fine. Because that's what I'm on now. I'm on the old OBS now. Yeah. Well, until I can figure out what's going on with the other one, because the other one's got so many bells and whistles. It's got so many cool things that you can use and shit. That it's like, it, yeah. Uh-huh. Well, it just takes a little bit of getting used to is really all it is. I'm teaching my son right now. He's doing the whole computer thing in school and shit. Yeah. Alright. That too. Is that. I don't either. My wife and I wouldn't dare to go to a club. It would end badly. I can already see it. Yeah. You can't. You you you're straight. You're Gucci. No problems. I'm never gonna get logged into this shit. Pain in the ass. Yeah, yeah. No, it didn't. What'd that say? They usually oh no, they bugging. What are you doing? It just won't let me into my fucking PayPal, and I want to know how much money I have in that bitch. Yeah, because they're playing with your damn money. No. Gmail. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Luckily, I know they will. And there's we got a porch, so we're lucky for that. We got a porch. Damn it. What the hell? Sorry, I ain't talking much. I can't fucking talk and type for some reason. I can't talk and write either. I just don't got that kind of mind, I don't think. Like, that can do those things. I'm just gonna have to call these motherfuckers tomorrow, man. I'll fucking let you go and fucking get some rest. What time is it where you're at? Yeah, where are you at again? Massachusetts, okay. Alright, brother, man, I appreciate you coming in and checking my video and shit out, bro. I really do. Yeah, me too, me too. I had to do some extra shit, but it's all good. Alright, brother, I'll holler at you. Alright, one. everybody again, hope. Whoa. I forgot to upload this on the internet. Upload this picture. matter who.